AOC is clearly running for president. She spent the entire weekend doing damage control. You know, the 4 words that have now gone viral. Woke one was crazy. AOC is obviously trying to run away from the monster that she helped create, but there's just one problem. She keeps contradicting herself. She can't keep her story straight. Just take a look at this.
So you have Wisconsin coming up next. Francesca Hong, who is the Democratic Socialists of America supported candidate for governor. You haven't endorsed her. Are you going to?
No, I haven't endorsed in that race. My focus has been in winning back the Congress, winning back the House, and positioning ourselves to have the best chance possible to win the Senate. So I've been focused on those legislative races.
What do you make of those
Now, it is really interesting that she is refusing to endorse Hong. That's exactly what Bernie Sanders refused to do. He distanced himself very clearly from Francesca Hong. And it's funny because in this interview, AOC is making the argument, oh, she's changed her mind. She's backed away from these positions. Yet, despite this supposed change of heart, she's refusing to endorse. And she defends herself saying, well, these are local races and, you know, politics is all local, so I'm not going to get involved. Well, that argument would actually mean something if AOC didn't endorse in local races, but she's done this all over the country. I mean, she's endorsed, sure, many candidates in New York and Pennsylvania and New Jersey, but she's gone as far south as Tennessee. According to The Intercept, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wades into Tennessee primary, endorsing Justin J. Pearson, not just there, by the way. In Montana, she's endorsed. She also went as far west as California, endorsing Randy Villegas. So AOC gets involved all the time. It's really interesting that her and Bernie Sanders are keeping their distance from Francesca Hong, and I believe this is because she has obvious aspirations to run for president in 2028, and she realizes, hey, I can't attach my name to this crazy person, or it's going to ruin my electoral odds. She's clearly trying to rewrite some of her own history, and that's why she said woke one was crazy. She's trying to act as if we're all going to forget what her entire career was built on.
The abolish prisons, abolish police, which is also positions that have been taken by a lot of the progressive candidates who have won.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get around that?
Yeah.
I mean, those are not positions that are supported by
Right. I mean, I think that a lot of these races, even right now, they'll have a tendency to be nationalized.
Yeah.
But these races ultimately are local, and all politics are local. My understanding is that that Francesca Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate.
Yeah, she's moved away from a lot of that.
Right, she's moved away from it. And I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Woke one was crazy. Okay, that's interesting.
And I think...
Now, if Francesca Hong really has moved away from those crazy positions, why won't AOC, why won't Bernie Sanders endorse her? They've endorsed plenty of other candidates. AOC has endorsed upwards of 23 to 26, at least, at the very minimum, depending on how you count endorsements. And yet she's claiming she won't get involved because, oh, all politics is local. Clearly, there are higher ambitions at play here. And for them to act as if, oh, woke one was crazy, honey, you built woke one. You were the chief architect. You spearheaded that entire movement. And guess what? We have the receipts, AOC. In your own words, woke is a term pundits are now using as a derogatory euphemism for civil rights and justice. Making up a woke problem results in putting civil and voting rights on the back burner. In a year state legislatures are planning out GOP majorities and voter suppression, that's dangerous. And what's interesting is that Jonathan Karl never asked a follow-up question. If there really is a woke 1.0, and if woke 1.0 really was crazy, that by definition implies that there is a woke 2.0. So what exactly has changed? What has evolved? Why wasn't there any follow-up from Jonathan Karl there? I mean, if these people were wrong about abolishing prisons and abolishing the police, what else are they wrong about? Was it just a slogan? Or was this policy? And obviously we know the answer to that because money was actually cut, police departments were actually defunded, criminals were let back out on the streets. There are not just statistics, but there is a very real human cost. Many innocent people hurt and unfortunately, even worse, killed. And their families, their loved ones have to deal with the consequences of this crazy ideology. ideology. And that is the problem with all of this, is what AOC and Bernie are trying to do is they're trying to rebrand all of this. 1.0 didn't work. Woke 1.0, that's trash. We're going to disavow that. We're going to introduce you to something better. Woke 2.0. As if they weren't responsible for the past destruction. It would be like if you hired a contractor to work on your home and they decided to knock down a load-bearing wall. And it obviously caused a lot of damage to your home, a lot of damage to the structural integrity. And they came back a few years later. That destruction was crazy, but you know what? I have a new plan, and they have a sledgehammer with them. Are you going to let them into your home? Of course not. Yet that's exactly what AOC, Bernie, and these radical Democrats, DSA members are trying to do. It wasn't just that tweet, by the way. Take a look at this one. And before people disingenuously complain woke is denigrating to older people, it's actually pundits like Karl using terms like woke to insult voters under 45 that's denigrating. Don't wonder why youth turnout falls when Dems talk about them like this. We need everyone. So she obviously has been on the front lines of woke. She's been defending this, and yet she won't take the time to explain what exactly is different between this current woke 2.0 versus the previous one that she's now trying to distance herself from. But here's where things get really crazy, because as if all of that wasn't bad enough, AOC is now blaming COVID. Yeah, the pandemic is to blame for woke. The pandemic is to blame for all of her insanity, not herself. Take a look at this.
I think that what's important is that we have to assess what
was it. I mean, did the movement go too far with some of those positions? I mean, you briefly supported the idea of defunding the police.
Well, I think that during this time and especially during COVID, there was a huge opening of the Overton window. We were shut down. There was some of the highest unemployment rates that we have seen because of those shutdowns. Yeah. And I think that the doors were really open in trying to entertain any and every policy that was going to get us to a better place. And I actually think that the discussions that were had in that time were quite fruitful. I think that when we talk about crime today, it's fundamentally different than the way that we talked about crime in bringing crime down, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that we all share in the goals of having as low a crime rate as possible. I think that during lockdown, of course, rhetoric in that time is not rhetoric that we would use today. And I'm grateful that these candidates have the opportunity to present who they are to their electorate and what they're campaigning on in this.
Okay, AOC, you really want to blame the pandemic and COVID for all of woke 1.0? Well, I pulled up one of your tweets before the shutdown. This was from October 2019, a full 5 months before anyone in the United States was shut down. You posted this: mass incarceration is our American reality. It is a system whose logic evolved from the same lineage as Jim Crow, American apartheid, and slavery. To end it, we have to change. That means we have to have a real conversation about decarceration and prison abolition in this country. You posted that before any shutdown, before COVID was even on anyone's radar. How do you square that with what you're saying now? Again, AOC clearly is trying to rewrite history, and you have to wonder why. I think, truly, I believe she is eyeing a presidential run in 2028. I don't know whether she's aiming to run as the primary candidate or if Bernie Sanders and her have had a conversation. Maybe they're going to team up to make a ticket. I don't know. But clearly, AOC is attempting to distance herself from the most radical components of her base while simultaneously also attempting to appeal to them. Talk about mental gymnastics. It is that sort of cognitive dissonance that is causing all of this infighting in the Democrat Party right now. And like I said, if you are using the term woke 1.0, that just flat out implies that there is a woke 2.0. And so Democrats, they're going to have to do a lot of soul searching. This is going to be a fight to determine the future, the direction of the Democrat Party. And Joe Scarborough actually referenced AOC's comments on his show this morning, and he was so angry about it. I mean, he was literally screaming at the television when it came to El Sayed. Take a look.
But please, I don't need people telling me, oh, you have to just turn a blind eye to people saying that women getting raped on October 7th didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. No, Americans aren't going to support that. This is not about me. This is about the Democrats, once again, fumbling the football on the 2-yard line when they have a chance to make great gains, but being so woke, I don't know if you want to call it woke 1, woke 2, or woke 3, but being too woke to call out the obvious. I swear to God. It's crazy that we're even having this conversation. If somebody says a woman being raped doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, it's okay to call that person out and demand that candidates distance themselves from those people. If you want to rule, over a party and win elections.
You know what they say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. I don't usually agree with Joe Scarborough, but I think he was spot on there. I don't know if you caught it too, but at the very end, he fumbled over himself. He seemed to catch himself when he said the word rule, because of course presidents don't rule over the United States of America. So he had to, in real time, think about, oh shoot, what am I going to say? Oh, they're going to rule over the Democrat Party. But I thought that was interesting because it really gives us insight into how Democrats think. It's all about power. It's all about authority. It's all about big government. So it doesn't surprise me that in the middle of his screaming rampage there, the word rule just came out of his mouth and he had to go along with it. Well, as Democrats try to thread this very tiny needle, as they attempt to have it both ways, as AOC attempts to do mental gymnastics, the fundamental facts remain, and that is that AOC is an extreme candidate, and she is a member of the DSA. But before we get into that, I would like to acknowledge the members of today's Governor's Club. They are Moonfairy 11, State of Dades Griffith, and Jenny Rankin. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you enjoy. Well, during this interview, Jonathan Karl asked AOC about her membership with the DSA, and she attempted to backtrack. She attempted to downplay it, saying, oh, it's just a local chapter, but even her excuse doesn't make that much sense.
Are you still a member of Democratic Socialists of America?
Of the New York City chapter.
The New York City chapter, not the national.
No.
And what's the difference?
So every DSA chapter is formed locally.
Yeah.
And so the New York City DSA chapter, those are folks that you know. It's kind of like your local union chapter.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So, because I
Notice what she didn't say. She didn't say, oh, our beliefs, our platform, our core tenets are different from what the rest of the DSA chapters believe. She didn't say that at all. It was actually her same defense that she used for not endorsing Francesca Hong. Oh, you know, it's just local chapters. These are people you actually know. Similarly, she said, oh, I'm not going to endorse Francesca Hong because it's a local race. You know what they say. Politics is local. I'm not going to get involved. Forget the fact that she's endorsed plenty of candidates in many local races that are far away from where she is in New York. So again, she's trying to play mental gymnastics, and she's trying to thread this very fine needle. And the only reason I can think that she would have to do this, I mean, think about it. AOC has been a firebrand. She's always spoken her mind. She hasn't been afraid of controversy. Why all of a sudden is she trying to be more politically correct? The only answer that makes sense is she is plotting her 2028 presidential run. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That is what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So, what do you think AOC is more likely to run for? The Senate or the presidency? Obviously, she's running for re-election right now, but there's been a lot of speculation about her moves in 2028. Chuck Schumer obviously getting old. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, your predictions. And the most interesting part of that question, why? The Senate or the presidency? Let me know down in the comments. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.